Yo,
What's up, man?
what up, Dhani? I'm
We're
here,
doing this
baby.
again.
I'm here. Dhani Jones. How do I
Hey,
look,
you know
man?
what I'm talking about? I love the mask. I love that. I love that.
I'm social distancing from myself, man.
Look, that's sometimes what you got to do, especially during these crazy times. You got to. I mean, I love the mask. I love the new hats. You know, the sets, the daily sets, the nightly sets. I mean, it's man, you bring so many people together. So I really appreciate you coming on again, talking about just giving people these nuggets of love and all the
well,
things that you've been able
well,
to do to help
well,
people out.
well.
So
Before we start, I do want to let people know that this is not a DJ set. That this is a conversation because everyone's like, "Yo, let's go." I am gonna play a set in 30 minutes as soon as our
you are.
conversation is done. I wasn't going to, but like we're here about to like, I'm ready to rock out, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not really that much of a talker these days. Like I really try to play. I try to like speak through music.
What's been your favorite set? I didn't get to ask you that last time, but between
Oh,
80s, 90s, 70s, all the different genres that you intertwine. What's been your favorite?
my favorite set are my late night sets. I started what's called Club Quarantine After Dark. So CQ After Dark has been like, I grew up listening to like a lot of slow songs. You know what I mean? Like I used to always just like growing up, I loved the Isley Brothers and like Donny Hathaway.
Yes.
So during the daytime, it's difficult to play a set like that because it's not really like a party set. It's just a feeling. You know what I mean? It's a zone that you want to be in, and playing those. Wait, hold up. You're not even supposed to be asking me questions.
But then you were in a good
No,
spot right now.
no, no, no. I'm actually supposed to be interviewing you, man. I want to
What do
do
you
that.
wait. First of all, you were about to go there with the Quiet Storm. Tell me about the Quiet Storm.
I'm just saying, it's just a vibe, man. Like, it's a vibe, bro. It's like music that moves your spirit, where you're like dancing, but you're not really moving. You're just grooving, and you're like, that's. So when I play that type of set, I turn the lights off. I don't want anyone to see me. It's more of a silhouette kind of thing, and it's just after dark. It's supposed to be like not really the quiet storm, but like this chill because I play a little bit of everything. It's a very soulful experience. That's the kind of set that I've been enjoying lately.
Well, I've been enjoying it too, and I know you want to switch it up. And for all those that are out there on your IG live, I know they want to hear your music. And today we might be talking about each other's stories, but it's also about raising money for Give Together Now. And I just want to
Yes.
let you know because last week you let me interview you. And we were like at 15, close to 15 million. Now we're at 17.5 million dollars.
Lovely.
$17.5 million. That's going to help roughly 35,000 families. They're all going to
Wow.
get a check for like $500. And what Give Together Now is about raising money. It's getting money into the hands of those, as well as getting money into the hands of people that really need it, because this
Yes.
COVID-19 crisis is really hurting a lot of people. And just even thinking about, there's people that are passing. There are people that don't have any food. There's people that families that are broken apart, and they need this money desperately. And I've just been fortunate enough to just talk to a lot of people on Stand Together Live, and talking to you has been amazing because you've really helped us raise a lot of money. So really, thank you. And I know you're doing so many things. So I'll let you get to it. I won't.
No,
I'll let you ask me questions. Go
I
ahead.
mean,
I'm
because
open book.
I'm such a fan. Outside of just being a friend, I'm a fan, and I get to ask you questions. Like we never talk music and we never talk about football. I've always tried to like keep it separate and just enjoy being in your presence. So I have some things that I want to start with. I guess because I was a big fan. I'm a big fan of your personality. So I want to ask you, what's the hardest thing? What's the hardest thing been about hosting on Instagram compared to your experience on like on national television?
you know, Instagram Live is like this new phenomenon, right? And, we just really wanted to bring people together to make a difference, and really to kind of make an impact. And I didn't realize how profound it was going to be, right? This is like a national platform with millions and millions of people that can log in from anywhere. And so I think it's the curveballs. I think it's the messaging that comes out of, I think it's the questions that come out of left field, and which is wonderful, but at the same time it's challenging, because on the one side, doing television shows, sometimes that's predictable, sure, right? But when you get on IG Live, you never know what's going to happen. You might show up with a quarantine mask and a hat and a new shirt, and all of a sudden you just start playing different music, right? And I could do the same type of thing. Like, I could show up and start throwing on this hat, and just all of a sudden I'm flipping from this hat because I'm ready for you. I can flip to this hat, But that anything can happen on IG Live, but that's also the beauty of it too. The realness and the real conversations that happen.
It's actually been my favorite part of IG Live. I know most people know I come on to play music and DJ, but what I love most about it is it's a chance for me to actually get to even know my friends better. Sometimes I've never been in the homes of my friends because we're always traveling. You may have a new place. Now I see where your office is. Like, I'm loving it, All right, I got another question for you. All right, so, all right, the average NFL player's career is usually like 3 years, right? And you were able to do it for 11. Like, what was the secret? What did you have to do in order to, like, play so long? Meanwhile, before you answer that, I see people, they keep talking about missing you playing for the Eagles. I don't want to talk about that. I'm a Giants fan.
Man, I have to think about that. Playing football, I think number one, you have to find your gift. I think you have to find your unique gift, like what sets you apart, right? Like I wasn't really like I call it a white collar player. Like, I wasn't like the fastest person. I wasn't making the most amount of money. I wasn't touted the top person coming out of the University of Michigan, the greatest university in the world. I felt like I was a blue collar worker, right? I was a blue collar worker that knew that my lane was I needed to be the hardest worker that was out there. I needed to make sure that I knew what everybody else was doing so I could also empower them. That's what we talk about at Stand Together. It's about empowering other people, creating win-win scenarios, and really finding those gifts. And I had to find that gift in myself on the field. I mean, a lot of people probably don't know, like, my mother didn't want me to play football.
Oh, wow.
She hated the fact that I played football. But because she always wanted me to think about, like, you have to use your mind all the time. Like, there's a lot of people that can go out there and they can do things in the entertainment world. They can do things in the sports world. But we need to think about how do we intellectualize our life so that we can end up anywhere, right? Because football, I might get hurt and then I'm done, right? All of a sudden, I'm not as fast and I'm done. But if I use my mind, then I can translate that into a different type of speed. And I was able to do that in the game of football when I was surrounded by Pro Bowl player after Pro Bowl player. And I was sitting here, 3 or 4 years later, and I was like, wow, I just really felt fortunate about that opportunity. And I think, going to Michigan, it set me up for success. I almost didn't even make it on that team, but then going to the Giants, playing for an owner that went to the University of Michigan gave me lift, right? Yes, and gave me an opportunity to be who I was. But it was challenging, but I loved every bit of that exercise. And then being able to play for 11 years is funny. I'll tell you this one story. My mom came to one of my games and she asked me after the game, she said, "You know what, Dhani, you had a good game, but you also missed a couple tackles." I said, you should have been in A gap when you moved over to the B gap. I was like, "Mom, you don't even like football that well." And she basically said, "Look, it wasn't that I didn't like football. I wanted to make sure that if you were all in on the game, that you were intellectually prepared."
All right, which is funny that your mom finally came around, even though she didn't want you to play football. She finally came around and supported.
what about you with DJing?
Uh,
And also at the same time, I mean, I know a lot of parents that the kids want to get into music, and then all of a sudden, you know, they might get into music or they may not, because parents' influence is heavy.
well, my situation was different. So I didn't, you know, even though I have like a fantastic relationship with my mom, I didn't live with my mother. So going in the direction of music was a personal thing. You know, like we didn't hip hop was still in its infancy, so this wasn't about just DJing. Hip hop itself was still like a young culture, and we were pretty much doing it for fun. And it wasn't until like our second album came out, which second album with BDP came out, which was called By All Means Necessary, did we really understand that, hey, this is actually more than just a thing. Like this is a career. Like
Yeah.
we are artists. We're selling records. Like you know, and you know, we kind of I won't say excuse me, I won't say KRS did, but like some of us in the industry, especially like me at the time, you know, being like 18 years old, like yeah, you kind of like get caught up with the fame. You want more of it. You know, I wanted to travel more, and I chose that path for myself, which has been a blessing. You know, like it went from just being like an artist a career into web development, into a photography career,
Right.
into the career that I have now, which is more DJ slash personality, which I really don't have that great of a personality. You know, I don't think, man.
Come on. Hey, you know,
no, but no, I love the career path that I chose. You know, I'm able to affect people through music, through my love of music and the arts in general. You know, and it's just been like this amazing journey. Whether it's you know through the you know the ups and downs, peaks and valleys. You know, like it's been great. You know, and I'm really happy to be in this position to be able to share my talent with the world.
and
Wait a minute, wait. You're not supposed to be interviewing me, bro. Don't ask
look,
me these questions.
this
I'm
how
interviewing you.
this the flow, man. This the flow.
Yeah. Okay, I have another question. All right. So football always seemed like a phase and not a defining factor for you. So at what point in your career did you recognize that you needed to be more than just an athlete?
I think I recognized that from the very beginning. Um, you know, when I was growing up, you know, my mother, she was a, let's just say she was an intellectual. Okay,
Hmm.
yeah, she got 1600 on her SATs.
Oh wow.
So she was perfect in every way, and you know, so like I said, sports wasn't really the direction. It really became some level of empowerment because of the fact that I had like a bad temper, right? And it also became this area that we deflected. And
Wait, you had a bad temper?
I had a bad temper.
Oh
I had a
wow.
bad temper.
You're like
Um,
always the happiest dude and always smiling. I'm like, you had a bad temper?
yeah, I have this switch, and I talked about it in my book called The Sportsman, um, where you know you just kind of reach that boiling point, and all you do is see red. So
Wow.
you know, so sports wasn't always sports. While it was a part of me, it wasn't all the things that I did. And I think the same way you talk about the creative life that you live. You know, when I was growing up, I did a lot of photography like you did, right? I wrote a lot of poetry like you did. I tried to start a group. Unfortunately, I wasn't as successful as you were. I actually got kicked out of two music groups when I was growing up. I actually got kicked out of like my middle school harmonizing group because everybody in that group, and I want to call them out because I hope they're out there listening to your set. But they basically said I had no harmony, so I needed just to leave. So
Well, you know what's funny is that I tried playing football when I was like 10, living in North Carolina, and you know, I'm from the city, man. We don't play football in Harlem. And living in North Carolina, I got hit one time, and that was
you're
it.
like, it's a
I
wrap.
was like, I'm good, man. I'm like, nah, I don't think this is for me. This is not my kind of vibe right here, man.
It,
So
it
wait,
was like,
Quincy Jones is in here. What's up,
oh,
Q?
Quincy, what's going on?
We got all the Joneses, man. You can't keep up with the Joneses. What's going on, Quincy?
We got D Jones, we got D Jones, we got Q Jones. We're the rest of the Joneses. No,
Oh,
but
that's awesome, man.
so those were some of the things that I did, and then I really had a passion and love for science, and I also had a passion for like outer space. So I started going down the route of medicine, and really really focused, tremendously on a lot of my studies, whether it be math and science. And what I realized is that I could apply some of that very same thinking of arts and science into the world of football. And so I
Yes.
approached it completely different, which sometimes aggravated my coaches, because I'd be on the sideline talking about my organic chemistry class, or I might be on the sideline talking about my anatomy physiology class, and they wanted me to talk about cover 2, cover 4. They wanted me to talk about different running routes and different plays. And what they didn't realize was the language that I took into consideration was the language that I learned from inside my classroom. I just applied it to the game of football. So just like you apply your creativity in the way that you do, our unique gifts are wrapped into the artistic form that we now live on a day in and day out basis.
Wow, that's great, man. So I want to talk about something else. Like you have the bow tie cause, right? So something that you discovered outside of football was a love for helping others. So I want to learn more about the bow tie cause. Please share.
Yeah. So one of the things as I was kind of traversing through this world of football that I learned, and this is through Lloyd Carr, who everybody knows is a great coach at the University of Michigan, took us to the national championship in '97. I hope he's in club quarantine. Hope he's in Stand Together Live, hanging out.
Absolutely.
He said, it's not about you, it's about something greater than yourself. And you also talked about that, right? It's not
Yes.
about you, it's about the love that you're sharing with other people. And when I was at Michigan, we used to go to Maud Children's Hospital and go spend time with the kids. And that was really where the notion of philanthropy just got emblazoned in me, in all of us from Michigan. And my first team that I joined was on the Giants. And I came to find out that one of my friends actually got cancer, and he had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. His name is Kunta Littlejohn, and he's probably in the room somewhere. He's down in Philadelphia, worked on the SEPTA lines, and I found out he had cancer. And so I took the learning and the lessons that Lloyd Carr gave me, and I said, look, how can I help my friend who's suffering, right? A lot of people are suffering out right now. COVID-19. I just found out one of my friends, Mark Campbell, suffered through COVID-19. He played with me at Michigan. And I just thought about how can I give back to him. And so he had always told me, if you want to be somebody, you gotta rock a bow tie. And maybe someone told you, if you want to be somebody, you gotta rock a hat, right? Something, and I didn't even understand it. But what I came to realize is that something that sets you apart, that gives people an opportunity to recognize who you are, is an opportunity to lift everybody else up. Right?
Yes.
It's an opportunity to be recognized, but then give that recognition back to the people that are around you. And so Kunta, in his message through my bow ties that I wear for him, gave me an opportunity to talk about his struggle through non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, but then gave me an opportunity to talk about other people and their struggle through their own illnesses. And so we started Bow Tie Cause, and we started raising money. And so we've worked with Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. We've worked with we worked with we worked with Pediatric AIDS. We've worked with University of Michigan. I mean, we've worked with so many different organizations. It's crazy, and it's just really about wearing the bow tie, but supporting other people. It's about people asking about the bow tie and telling other people's story. It's not about us, right? It's about the community of people that are around us, and how can we help lift them up? And that's something else that we talk about, Stand Together.
Wow, it's awesome. And the fact that you call it the bow tie cause. I have an interesting story about a bow tie, right? So growing up without a father, I never learned to tie a bow tie. I didn't even know how to tie a tie, really. To be honest with you, I grew up in the hip hop world, so a lot of T-shirts and button downs, but it was never really about a bow tie. And the biggest at that point, the biggest gig that I had in my career was DJing the second inaugural ball for President Obama. And I remember sitting in a hotel in DC just before I was supposed to head over to the event. And I was in the mirror trying to tie a bow tie. And I was so frustrated that I teared up, because that wasn't something that's usually something that's passed on from father to son, and I didn't understand how to tie this bow tie, and I learned on by watching a YouTube video, which is crazy. And so when I found out that the name of your organization was called Bow Tie, the Bow Tie Cause, it was just impressive because that is just as someone who wants to lead by example and to be a role model, it's a perfect name for it about passing on legacy and showing kids, what to do and helping kids. So I really applaud you for that. And maybe one day you can teach me how to tie a bow tie. You know what I mean? Like you can help me out. You got me? You got me, bro?
No, hey, you know what? You know what? I'd be honored to teach you how to tie a bow tie. And I just want to let everybody else know that's listening. That was uh that was that was very humbling for you to say that.
Yeah,
And I know that was I know that was like emotional.
totally.
Like a lot of people, like, I just want to give you kudos for being able to talk about your family. I want to give you kudos for being able to talk about the legacy that you're trying to leave. Because I think that as a strong Black man as yourself, I think it's to be able to talk about that and be able to sort of give that to other people. So I just wanted to commend you for that. So I'd be honored to teach you how to tie a bow tie,
Absolutely, man.
and make one for you at one point.
No, I love it, man. I know this isn't just about me, but it's really about sharing the experiences with people to, sometimes they look at, someone that they admire or in the entertainment industry, some people seem to think that we're not flawed, but we have issues and we have, and I enjoy sharing them, like I'm trying to be as transparent as possible and also respecting other people in my family. It's just important for other people to know, like, there are ways like to teach the youth and to
Yeah.
whether it's through music or whether it's through something as simple as a bow tie. It's a beautiful experience. So anyway, I want to ask you something. All right, talk to us how you became involved in the campaign and show.
Yeah. So Stand Together Live really was birthed out of this notion that that we need to be able to leverage Instagram and Instagram Live to be able to talk to amazing people like yourself, talk to other people like Tez Bryant, talk to people like Nancy Lieberman, talk to people like Jimmy Chin, who we're going to talk to tomorrow, who created who was one of the greatest National Geographic photographer that's out there, who did an amazing movie called Free Solo, with a good friend of mine named Alex Honnold. And for those of you who all don't know Jimmy Chin, all you got to do is go to his Instagram site and you'll see some of the greatest photography you've ever seen. And I don't know if you saw Free Solo with Alex Honnold, but like
I
I've
did.
had an opportunity to interview him, and he is one of the most fearless individuals ever. And so hearing the stories of your story, hearing the story of Nancy Lieberman, Tez, and and Jimmy tomorrow, Spice was on the show. I think those are perfect opportunities to bring the community together, that we talk about and Stand Together, and give people nuggets, right, of fearlessness so we can get through this.
Yes.
Every day on the news, all I'm hearing about is someone that didn't get a ventilator, someone that didn't get a hospital bed. Unfortunately, someone that might have passed. I've had friends and family that have passed from COVID-19, or people that feel like a family from COVID-19. And we need to be able to take these little, I keep talking about nuggets, right? We need to take these beats, right, and put them into people's heads, so when they're walking down the street and they might be by themselves and they might be distant from another, but they feel close to one another. And it's got to be hard for you sitting so far away from everybody that you might know, and I'm sure you're going through it too, just like everybody else.
Totally. I mean, I go through it. I had a situation this weekend or an experience this weekend where, yes, being home alone in quarantine, it could be difficult. Like it's just on your mental, you know what I mean? Like, and mental health is extremely important. Sitting here, like I never knew the importance of like the human connection, like just having contact with someone, because it's something that you don't really think about. You kind of take for granted. Like I would, I'm just saying, like, if I got into an argument with someone and or a disagreement, and it's like, you know what? I don't need you.
Mm.
I don't need anyone. I can do this. Actually, you do need someone. You know what I mean? Like just having that connectivity is important, and like not having that, I mean, of course, I see people downstairs, but like not having that from family
Right.
could be. I mean, it's a difficult thing, and it's and I get through it by playing music. I've found that. That's why I jump on so much. Anytime I play music, really I only want to DJ once a week. But I find myself sitting in here sometimes where it's like the only thing that provides me with the kind of
Yes.
happiness that's very fulfilling is to give. And I
Mm.
give through music. I give by standing here in this particular spot and playing music for people. And that makes me happy. So that's how I'm kind of coping with this isolation and getting through it. But stop asking me questions, bro.
Wait, wait,
I'm
wait, wait, wait.
interviewing you, man.
No, I just want to make sure we give that shout out to Quincy Jones because you're talking about music. And, if he's still in the room, love to have him, come on the show. But really, it's about, we're making real change.
Yes.
You're making real change in this world. And everybody's putting aside their differences and coming together to help. Right.
And
That's what we're doing.
that's actually been the beauty of what's going on now. Like, like I'm not really a part of cancel this whole like, cancel people. Like right now in this time where we all should be concerned with like really, helping each other as opposed to just worrying about cancel culture. Like I'm here to serve. I'm here to, and I serve through music.
Yes.
Like that's what I want to do. Like I use my platform, and I, because of what we're going through, I realize that it is a platform that I have here. People can come in and hear music, or they can come and hear me play, or have a conversation. We can converse about what's going on in the world. Like, I love this platform that I have now, and I'm trying to use it in the right way, in the most respectful way of the people that have been a part of it, like that have joined me here. So it's like, I want to do good with, of course, I want to provide for my family, but like Will Smith and I raised money recently through selling T-shirts for, the healthcare workers. That's an important thing to me, like to do things that are selfless acts to help others. And I love that. I love that about you. Like our conversations really started with stand together. So I have another question for you. Like, how did that happen? When did you decide that it was great for you guys to work together?
Well, I mean, I would say this. Stand Together came to me and they were like, look, let's do this. Let's do an Instagram live show. And we're going to base it upon three basic principles, right? Everybody has their own individual gifts. Two, success comes from helping others. And three, it's like the strength of America is in our communities. And I was like, those are all the things I care about. Of course I want to do that. And then they said, how about you just get some of your friends that you want to talk to about their lives, and we can kind of listen to their story, and then and we can take their story, we can take those little nuggets I talk about, we can give those to other people. And I said I was in, and that's essentially how the show came together. And it's just been really a fortunate opportunity for me, as I said, for hashtag Give Together Now,
Yes.
givetogethernow.org, to be able to raise money. And there's $17.5 million. We started off with $5 million, which was basically the money that Stand Together put in. And we've raised $12.5 million in like a little bit less than a week. And there's people that are going to be, whether they're in New York, they're in California, Florida, Texas, all across the board, they're gonna be able to get money.
Yes.
And so why wouldn't I want to help, and why wouldn't I want to be involved? And if anything, it's also because I want to reconnect with the people that I care about in my life that have also given me inspiration,
Yes.
so that we can collectively not cancel people, but bring people together.
Absolutely. So you reached out like, to a lot of your friends who are entertainers and athletes and notable figures. Like, why did you feel the need to include them with what you're doing?
Look, we have these unique gifts. We have this platform. We have the reach, and together our connectivity is a catalyst for good. It's kind of like two atoms that all of a sudden just like smash together and create this explosion, right? That explosion, you can either use it for negative or you can use it for positive. And I think that, us coming together, that's about utilizing that that common exchange for positive. And there's a lot of players that I've had the fortunate opportunity of playing in the league for 11 years, being on the Giants with the Tisch family, amazing. Being on the Eagles, where I went to the Super Bowl with the Lurie family, and then ending up on the Cincinnati Bengals with the Brown family. There's a lot of things that, and a lot of things and a lot of people I met along the way, and they may not have an opportunity, so I'll bring them together, right?
Yes.
And there's a lot of musicians and there's a lot of actors and actresses that I've been able to meet, and so we bring that together, right? So all these people that we are fortunate enough to be aligned with, then now can talk about something that's greater than ourselves, and we can create a community where we can now therefore project selflessness, and at the same time raise money to help so many people.
Wow. So what's next for Stand Together Live? Like, is there an impact beyond COVID-19, or like what's the plan?
Well, that's what I wanted to talk to you about. Maybe we can figure something out.
Wait, hold
I
on.
think
Apparently I'm almost like Beyonce now. I have the beehive. I love that. I'm seeing these comments right here. I have the beehive.
The beehive. I like that. You know what? Why don't we stand together live, and the beehive came together? There's any number of different things. I think that Stand Together Live continues because I think that positive confluence of people are going to start to want to work together.
Yes.
They're going to start and say, I'm going to say to Spice, like, man, maybe we can get some level of variety into a show. I'm going to say to like my boy Derek, and be like, D, yo, maybe we can all mix this all up. And I think that it's less important the name and more important the people, right? And I know that what you represent through your music, and D Nice is projecting positivity. What I represent alongside with Stand Together and Stand Together Live is positivity. Spice and what he's doing is positivity. So doing more of that, I think, there are endless possibilities that we can create, and that's what Stand Together Live is all about.
Can you tell us who's joining you next on Stand Together Live?
Ooh, I thought you never asked.
Who do you have? Who's coming up? Who's coming up next?
All right, so look, we have. I think we had to reschedule Sean Johnson East. She's an Olympian, gold medalist. I did a show with her on CNBC called Adventure Capitalist. She's going to be phenomenal. I can't wait to hear more about her, but also about her husband, Andrew, who is amazing. Their dog and their new child. So she's coming on. I don't have the exact date on that. We have Jimmy Chin. Jimmy Chin is coming up tomorrow, April 9th, 3 p.m. So he's coming on the show, and we're talking to a lot of other people. So whether it's Quincy Jones, he can come on the show. We'd love to have him. There's so many people that I've reached out to in this world. I mean, I have a whole entire list of people that I want to talk to, that I want to get on the show. I would love to have Will Smith on the show if he'd be willing. Can you help work on that?
No, I'll help work on that.
I would love that. I mean, look, if we could do that, that would be amazing. We could get Michelle Obama be on the show. That would be amazing.
I'll call Michelle. Once we get off, I'll send her a text, man. See what I can do for you.
I mean, let's go. Let's play this music
this is fun, man. Seriously, man, I think you're doing a fantastic job. Like, I just love what you represent. Like, being, not that I'm a former athlete, but you being a former athlete and finding your place in this world to just want to do good for other people is beautiful, man. And I commend you for that. And I'm trying to see if like anybody here has any questions.
Well, someone said Heidi B Media asked me about my travel show.
I love the travel. Come on. When are you bringing that
Did
back?
you watch my show?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I appreciate that, man. You should have came on the road.
The crazy thing, I was always a fan of yours because of football, because of your the game itself. But I ran into you. I met you. We were both we were near the Soho House in Chelsea, and we were walking the street. And I was like, "Oh, yo, what's up, man?" Like, so I was more of a fan of you at that point because of your show, the travel show.
Well, you got cut off real quick. I completely missed that.
Your Wi-Fi is off. Can you hear me?
Cool.
Oh, you back?
Yeah, back.
Man, you need better Wi-Fi, bro.
You know what? I'm not even going to talk bad about my service provider because I don't want them to cut it
You
off.
need better Wi-Fi.
I got so much bandwidth. I mean, wait. So say what you said again. I
No,
completely
I was
missed that.
saying like when we initially met, we were in Chelsea crossing the street. So when I saw you, I was more excited about meeting you because of your travel show than it was, even though I was a fan of your playing of playing football. But it was the travel show that showed your personality. Where you were. I mean, it was just great. So yeah, where are you bringing that back, or what are you gonna do?
Let me tell you something. If I could bring that back, I mean, think about this. I went to 20 different countries, played 20 different sports, and traveled on airlines, and somebody else was paying for it.
Sure, sure. It's like DJing, man. I'm traveling the world playing music, and someone is buying these tickets. Like, oh, I love it. So,
No, but you know, for me, it came at an interesting part of my life because when I was playing football, whether I was playing in New York and Philly, um, I always had this thought in my head that I needed to do something more, right? I mean, football is by itself incredibly satisfying, but there's like this other side of creativity that I needed to experience. I needed something else, and and it was always sort of like in the back of my mind. And I had an opportunity to I kicked off the NFL Network. A lot of people don't know that.
oh wow,
Like while I was playing for the Giants, I was a blue collar worker attached to a camera, like with a cord coming out, interviewing Ray Lewis when they lost in the playoffs and getting him to laugh. And then I also did it. I was the first player to do his own TV show on ESPN called Timeless. A lot of people don't even know about that. So two shows, and so that the same production company, which was called Redline Films at the time, they said, "Hey, Dhani, we know you like to travel, and we want to know if you want to do this show where we travel around the globe." And I was like, "Oh, of course." But what a lot of people don't realize is that was at the same time that I actually I got cut by the Eagles,
oh wow,
and they wanted to cut me because of the fact that I don't think they thought that I was as committed to the game as everybody else was committed to the game, right? And this goes back to what you were talking about, wanting to really do it your way. Sometimes when you do things your way, you end up on this island, and sometimes people won't come over there, so you might end up by yourself. But you feel like you have to take that chance on who you are, because that's a lot of times if you don't believe in yourself, who else are you going to believe in? And so I was like, okay, I'm going to do it anyways. And so I got an opportunity to do my first episode. We traveled to England, and we played rugby. And I tell you what, I almost died.
wow,
I almost died in my first episode because I fell off a horse. I
wow.
shouldn't have been on a horse, and I shouldn't have been jumping a horse, and I ended up jumping on this horse, and I fell off the horse. And in that moment, everything slowed down, and I almost hit a rock. And I didn't hit the rock, and I realized once I stood up that I was supposed to do the show, because even though that episode was focused on rugby, what was tougher, football or rugby, I realized that the show was really not about just me and the sport. It was really about me as an American, as an African American, playing the game of football, being able to bring together communities of other athletes to talk about this, to talk about how we are more alike than we are different. And so
Wow.
going from London, playing rugby, going to South Africa, playing soccer, going to New Zealand, being able to sail in America's Cup, being able to go to Thailand and do kickboxing in Cambodia, kickboxing. It was probably one of the greatest things. And I got to go to Nepal and climb to the base camp of Mount Everest. And so I would say for everybody else that's out here, that's listening, as we're raising money for Give Together Now, go to givetogethernow.org. In the way that I felt about the show, that's why I also love this show, because we're bringing people together,
That's
and
awesome, man.
we're all living our own sports, but we're also at the same time going through the same thing. So yeah, it's just I love that show. That was my favorite.
Hey, just so you know, we're still bringing people together. Jody Watley is in here. What's up, Jody Watley?
Whoa, Jody Watley! Uh-oh.
Yes. Listen, it was actually great, being able to talk football and also, of course, to talk about Stand Together Now. And I really appreciate you, brother. And we really should have these types of conversations more often. So if you have time next week,
What?
I want to come back
again?
because I actually want to know. I want to talk about the father side of you. So we'll save the parent side for the next conversation, and we'll talk about dad life. Can we do that?
I appreciate it. You know what? We're gonna get into the feelings. I love this. We're gonna get to the feelings. We're gonna get to the aspects of of who we are as men. I think that's important. It's also being open. So I appreciate that. I look forward to talking to you more next week. Thank you.
That's the game plan. Jody Watley said hello. Jody, come back in what time is it? It's 1:49. It's 1:50. Listen, at 2:30, I'm gonna play a little surprise. It's no longer a surprise. I was just gonna jump on at 2:30, but I see Jody Watley here, and I'm starting off with some Jody Watley records. That's what I'm gonna do. So at 2:30, I'm playing a straight set, man. So if you have time, I want you to come back and dance with us, bro.
Hey, look, I'm coming back, and I just want to let you know, thank you for having me. Thank you for coming on Stand Together Live. Like I said, we've raised $17.5 million for families that are in need through COVID-19. Tomorrow on Stand Together Live, we've got Jimmy Chin.
Yes.
Jimmy Chin.
Jimmy Chin.
Free Solo, okay? For those who don't know Free Solo, watch that movie tonight, and I guarantee you will tune in tomorrow. That's going to come on at 3 p.m. Eastern. And you already heard it from D Nice. We're going to talk again next week. Maybe Quincy, maybe Jody Watley will come on the show. Who knows?
We got to ask her right now. Quincy Jones is in here. Jody Watley's in here. You know what? Club Quarantine. This is in conversation with my brother right here. 2 DJs from one DJ to the next, even though my DJ skills are probably much better than yours.
You definitely.
All right, love you, brother, and I look forward to speaking to you next week, man.
All right,
keep up the good work.
You too.
And do me a favor, call Oprah and tell Oprah I'm coming for her job, man. I need to be America's talk show host.
You don't need to come for her job. I think y'all should just do something together.
You know what? That's right. You know what?
D Nice and Oprah. She's always lifted people up. Let's do this.
Look, Jody Watley said yes, she'll come on your show. So you need to hit her up too, man.
Okay.
And look, 2:30, Jody. 2:30 back here. We're about to ride out. I'm looking for a new love, Jody. Help me out, baby. Please help me out. I'm looking for a new love. All right, we'll see you soon, man.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
All right, brother. Peace, man. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, sir.